up, YouTube? It's Blaze here with a regional update for you guys. This past weekend I went to the regionals in Charlotte, North Carolina. Actually did pretty well. Ended up finishing the day X3, just barely losing on the bubble. Wasn't the deck I was wanting to take, but it did fairly well. It did what I expected it would do. A couple hiccups because of not being able to pick up certain cards before the regionals, but it's okay. But I'm just going to go ahead and jump into the deck profile and show you what I got here. And the deck was Dark Worlds. So here we got, zoom in a little bit on these bad boys. I ran triple grapha, which is standard. Then we've got the triple snow, triple brow. I opted to run 2 Silvas just because I know that there's a lot of decks out there running Dark World dealings, and if they blind dealings into me, Silva is always an amazing target to go into just to get rid of 2 cards out of their hand. I also ran 1 Beige. That's it for the Dark Worlds. I felt that this number was going to be the most consistent. I've seen the other builds that have been topping, but I like this one the best just because I'd rather play Beige over Gold, because I can normal summon Beige, unlike Gold. And for the rest of the monsters, I'd opted to run the 2 Tour Guides and a Trance Archfiend. I was really skeptical about the Tour Guides, but the only reason I ran it was because of the fact I wasn't able to pick up the skill drains for the day. Which, yeah, I went X3 without skill drains in Dark Worlds. That's pretty impressive if you ask me. But who cares what I think. But the 2 Tour Guides actually flowed really well, especially games 2 and 3, because honestly, I never really saw Tour Guide game 1. So everybody would expect, okay, he's siding into skill drains against me. I'm going to side out my Veilers because it does nothing to the deck. And Tour Guide was actually extremely live games 2 and 3. Trance also put in a lot of work. That's it for the monsters. Then for spells, I opted to run 3 Gates, 3 Dealings, 3 Drags, 3 Upstarts. Pretty standard for Dark Worlds. I also ran 2 Space. MST is too good not to main deck, especially this format. With Fire and a lot of decks relying a lot on back row, 2 MST was almost a no-brainer to run. I also ran 1 Allure, 1 Foolish to get a quick grapha, and 1 copy of 1 Day apiece. 1 Day was actually very, very helpful, especially games 2 and 3 where it was more of a grind game, and against a lot of the decks that are really fast like Geagia, Card Curries, and all that. You don't know how many times people would go off after I've activated 1 Day, forgetting that I'd activate 1 Day. Because, I mean, most people think, okay, Dark Worlds, gotta go ham, gotta kill them quick while I can. And there's a few games where I had 1 Day'd and people were like, okay, swing for game? No, you're under 1 Day. And that just ruined their day. I'll go over more of my matches here later in the video. I also decided to run the 3 Reckless. Reckless was extremely strong today, or this weekend. It put in so much work. It helped me get to my combo pieces so many times. The only time Reckless really didn't help me was against Evilswarms, and that's just because 1, that's a hard matchup, and 2, he had the 7 tools for it. Dark Smog put in a lot of work this weekend. It was too good. Just the reoccurring discard outlet plus the removal of their monsters from grave. 2 Mind Crush. I didn't want to run 3. I figured 3 just felt too much. 2 seemed to be the right number, and it worked out great for me. And 1 Eradicator. I was highly upset. I didn't see Eradicator all weekend, and it made me very sad. I actually played Prophecy, was begging to see that card, but that's one of my losses, and it is what it is. On to the side deck, though. I decided to side 1 Trance Archfiend. 3's too many. I like 2 because games 2 I like to side out of drag downs, but game 3 I go back in to drag down, so 1 Trance is good. Lava Golem. Opted to only run one Lava Golem instead of two because of the fact that I wanted to try out Geagia, and one-ofs of each of these worked out really well. Lava Golem put in a lot of work against the Evilswarm matchup, and Trag just put in a lot of work in general. It helps stop a lot of OTK decks from just straight killing me, especially from the fact that I'd usually drop him and have a pretty big hand, so they wouldn't be able to attack over him, and probably have already, and they usually had wasted their, like for gear guys, they wasted their Scrap Dragon Pop or something on like a back row or something. So Geagia put in a lot of work, and then in my next turn I could go off, copy Grapha's level, and go into a level rank 8. I made 2 max Cs. It was just too important. The Geagia matchup is too strong. It is way too strong in that matchup, and sometimes what's it called, Mermail. But I didn't play a single Mermail all weekend, or Fire, which was weird. I didn't play a single Mermail or Fire all weekend. I played Prophecies, Geagia, Evilswarms, and a lot of Cyber Dragons. A lot of Cyber Dragons. Like 3 Cyber Dragons, 2 Prophecy, 2 Geagia, and fuck, what else did I play? I can't even remember my first couple rounds. But I played a lot of Cybers mostly. Then I played the one system down 4 Cyber Dragons and somewhat Geagia Karakuris, but mainly for Cyber Dragons. Just because if you can survive their push, you go system down, it shuts down everything they had just set up, and Cyber Sentinel is now dead. You don't know how many times I system down after drag downing their entire, getting rid of cards in their hand, to leaving them just Cyber Sentinel, and then just system down and remove everything. Also played the 1 MST, 1 Twister, just for cards that shut me down, pretty much, for Shadow Mirror, D-Fissure, and Macro. I'd only ran into 2 D-Fissures, but I'd always had the MST for them. 1 Debunk, because Mermails, all that jazz, you know what it's good for. 1 Summon Limit. I only decided to run 2, or 1 instead of the usual 2 that I run, because Fire is a thing, and it's really not that good against Fire, but it is decent against Mermail. It is decent against Cyber Dragons, and it's amazing against Geagia. 2 deck dev, yet again, Cyber, Geagia, Mermails, because they're not mono Mermails anymore. And yeah, decided to decide the 3rd Mind Crush just for certain matchups like Prophecy or Fire, and the final 2 cards were 2 DNA Surgery. Everybody knows what DNA Surgery is for. On to the extra deck. I ran 2 Felgrams. 2 Felgrams. This is one of the only 3 XYZs I've made the entire weekend. Felgrand was just too strong in every matchup. It's just so easy to bring out, and he was just so good all weekend. MVP of the extra deck right there. 1 number 15, because it's not a bad play to, if you live through the Geagia, is go into him, pop 2, and then it's just really easy to do. I don't know how else to explain it. 1 Heliopolis. He's kind of important in the extra deck, kind of not. 1 Black Ship, because Trance plus Beige equals instant X rank 4. Then you got the Cowboy, the Diamond Dyer. Those are all of the rank 4s I played, but never went into any of them, so it doesn't matter. For rank 5s, I have a Tyrus, Volcasaurus, and Andreas, because you'd be surprised how many times I'll find myself with 2 Silvas on board. So then for rank 3s, 1 Zen Mains, never went into him. 1 Leviathan, went into him once just to stack up the graveyard for gates. 1 Tempo, never went into, and 1 Leviair, only went into once. And then finally, the only other card I actually went into more than once was Chimeritek. I decided to main deck 1 copy of Chimeritek just for the Cyber Dragon matchup, because I felt like it was going to be strong this weekend, which it was. There was a lot of Cyber Dragon decks, and they Like, everyone I played was shocked because everybody was thinking, you know, nobody's going to think about this deck. Nobody's going to think about Cyber Dragons. Well, I thought about Cyber Dragons because that's what I wanted to play this weekend. And this put in so much work against that matchup. You don't know how many times they just leave a Dre on board. And, like, a Dre and a Nova on board and just, like, whatever. And it's... I was like, okay, pop back row with Grapha, Chimera Tech, or fuse your monsters, make Chimera Tech, and they just look at me like, wow, I feel dumb. But that's the deck, guys. It ran fairly well. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. I ended up going X3 with it, and I'm pretty proud of myself. Had a lot of fun. But all in all, it was a good day. Ended up making my money back. Sold a bunch of cards. See, what else do I want to talk about? Oh, shout out to a friend of mine, Jared. He ended up going, he also went X3, but he went X3 with Glads. And literally, he was debating that night on what to play. And literally, I just threw a bunch of decks that I'd had randomly laying around the house. And this was the first time he had ever played with Glads, and he went X3 with them. I was pretty proud of him. He's not really a competitive player, but he just plays to have fun. Like, he wasn't even planning on going, and then all of a sudden came up with the money and was like, yeah, I'll go. Why not? He was going to play Inzectors because he knew the deck, but he opted to play Glads for some reason, and had a lot of fun with them and actually did really well. So shout out to him for doing so well with something nobody's expecting. Like, that was one thing everybody said to him. Was like, dude, I would have never expected to see Glads. Especially in the later rounds when he was still like X1, X2 with Gladiator Beast. They were like, wow, how have you made it this far? But let me know what you guys think. I'm going to try to start uploading more often. I'm going to there's a couple things I've got in mind for the channel. If you haven't noticed, I erased a lot of my old videos because I wanted to start anew and start over with the YouTube thing. But feel free to rate, comment, subscribe. I promise there's going to be a lot more videos coming up in the future. Doing my best, working with what I can. I mean, right now I'm working 48 to 50 hours a week, plus being a volunteer on the fire department, plus taking classes. So my schedule's pretty hectic. Like, literally, as soon as I finish this video, I gotta go shower, change, go to the meeting for the fire department, come home about 10, get ready for bed, go to bed, get up the next morning 7, or get up the next morning 6, go to work till 5, leave work at 5, go straight to class, which is supposed to be at 5, so pretty much go to class from 5 to 10, get home about 11 because class is about 30-45 minutes away from here, turn around, do it again. But rate, comment, subscribe, guys. Please give me a lot of feedback. I want to know what you think. If you want an in-depth report on what happened at regionals, I mean, I went X3. If you want to know my matchups, I'll make a video. Just drop a comment, shoot me a PM, shoot me something. There's going to be a couple things I'm going to be adding to my channel. I'm looking to do some fun videos. Or something I'm terrible at editing, but I'm going to start attempting to edit with this crappy ass Microsoft Movie Maker, because that's all I've got until I can raise up some money to get Sony Vegas. So any kind of feedback you can give me, thumbs ups are great. That'll help me get my channel bigger and make me be able to get better software, better stuff to increase my videos. But I need your guys' help for that. But yet again, man, guys, I'm sorry I'm rambling, but it is what it is. And I'm trying to think of what deck I'm going to continue to run for this format, because I've actually burnt myself out on Dark Worlds, because this is all I've been running for the past 2 months, getting ready for regionals. Yeah, and there will be more scrap updates to come, because that, yet again, scraps are my babies. I love that deck so much. And with the new field spell, that deck's going to be tier 1 for sure. See, is there anything else I want to talk to you guys about? If you want this deck, by the way, it's for sale. Everything I've got for sale, except for scraps. Yeah, that's about it. I'll probably holler at you guys later. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. Jesus Christ. I fuck up a lot. My bad. But rate, comment, subscribe. I'll holler at y'all later. Deuces.